Those are tough acts to follow. At this point in the program, I'd like Peter Flanagan, Jim Healy, and Cullum Keller, the honoree, to please come up to the stage. This is the point in the program where I introduce Cullum. He has a bio in the book that you received on your desk there, and I won't go through the bio, but there's one thing I want to point out there, and one is he's a chartered accountant, and if you talk to Cullum, being a chartered accountant is much more difficult than being a CPA. So the 4 or 5 tables we have of our public accounting friends, you can discuss that later if Cullum will talk to mere CPAs. I don't know. After his stint in public accounting, Cullum decided to make a career move, and he came to Wall Street to get involved with a job that's been described as doing God's work. And that brings us here tonight. And if I could be serious for a moment, we've been very fortunate to have Cullum Kelleher at Morgan Stanley for the past 23 years. He's a rare breed. His extensive knowledge is across a broad spectrum of subjects, whatever it be art, history, movies, finances, is in a word, astounding. He can tell you the difference between a Caravaggio and a Correggio, and I couldn't tell you the difference between Leonardo da Vinci and Leonardo DiCaprio. He can describe someone as being Corinthian with unflappable ease and will often reduce any situation to one enviable, brilliant comment. He is generous in lending his time and resources to things he cares about and believes in, such as education and SSP. He will often hide behind a veneer of modesty and occasional irascibility. Irascibility, that's a big word for me, you know? But Cullum can make Simon Cowell look like Gandhi at times. He has a passion for life that is truly inspiring. He's a genuine connoisseur. No doubt, his sheer brilliance and impressive wit were just 2 of the reasons he was able to woo someone as sophisticated and equally brilliant as his wife, Ella. So, Cullum, I thank you for being such a source of wisdom, laughter, and inspiration. You have my infinite admiration and gratitude for our friendship and all that you've done on behalf of SSP. Cullum Kelleher, the 2012 honoree.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming. The only instruction I had tonight was to be neither Gwyneth Paltrow, Dickie Attenborough, or Ricky Gervais. Before I begin, I want to say one thing. 23 years ago, I joined a truly great firm and a great franchise. And we've had our problems in the last 10 years particularly. But looking at the vast number of people here tonight from Morgan Stanley, I just want to say how proud I am that I am part of that Morgan Stanley crowd. So thank you very much for supporting us. Thank you, everybody, but this is a great but undeserved honor. When Jim Healy and Jerry Wood first approached me a few years ago, I had no idea that I would end up here and, in fact, what this was about. However, as I then learned, this is a very worthy cause. Now, we all have our favorite charitable causes, so getting attention for a new charity can be hard. The cause has to speak for itself, and the efficiency of the disbursements must be proven. One cause I personally feel very strongly about is extending educational opportunities to all children, especially those who are socioeconomically disadvantaged. As one of 9 children who went through a Christian Brothers grammar school, and some of you may know what that implies, and it wasn't particularly pleasant, and onto a good university, I know that educational rounding out changed my life and gave me a career that I would never have had otherwise. That is the opportunity we should be giving to as many children as we can. You've all been very generous tonight, and what's more, I've had to dress up in a dinner jacket, which is a bit of a bore. I thank you for that alone. I'm not going to list you all by name. It would be unfair because the amount of generosity is huge. I'm personally astounded by the number of clients, the number of counterparties, and the number of employees of Morgan Stanley who've contributed. So every single contribution is as important as each other, so I want to thank you generally. I am unfortunately going to have to get round to you personally by letter, so give me a few months. There's also proof here tonight that bankers, accountants, lawyers, and I note even PR people have a soft, caring side. Contrary to popular opinion, bankers are not just weapons of mass destruction, but they have a long tradition of social obligation and giving. Now, maybe the industry's antics over the last 10 years or so may have masked that, but from the Medicis on to the modern-day Medicis in this room, proof has been given of that charitable impulse. It is obvious that social obligation, that spirit of giving, has not been lost. There are, as I've said, many lawyers and accountants here tonight. Now, I'm confident that when the dust settles, you will be back to your rightful places in Dante's Inferno, which is below the bankers in terms of the pecking order. The turnout from Morgan Stanley and our trusted advisors and clients has been outstanding. Rest assured that this money will be well spent. Now, to end the story tonight, and you may say, thank God, I want to give one anecdote. I received an email from a young man working for a bank in Hong Kong, a bank that is a fierce competitor of ours and whose name I can barely mention except under duress. You know who that is. This young man congratulated me on being an honoree, but then went on to tell me that he was SSP class of 1997 and how this had changed his life, obviously for the better. He is now a managing director at this very impressive, though unmentionable, firm. That is a testament to this charity. So I just want to personally thank Jim and Jerry for involving me, and thank you all for your generosity again.
At this time, I'll let Peter Flanagan present the award for the 2012 honoree to Cullum Kelleher.
Lest you think this is an Irish organization, with Kelleher, Healy, and Flanagan up here, and all those great young Irishmen who were singing Irish Eyes Are Smiling. I assure you it is not. And all of you are welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Cullum, you did not disappoint. Thank you very much. And that concludes tonight's events here. As I mentioned, there's a dessert room in the cotillion, which also has drinks, which I'm sure the equity department was concerned about. And the bar's open till 11 o'clock, so go for it, guys.